The world had long forgotten what it meant to be alive. A world that had once been vibrant with the sounds of bustling cities, the laughter of children, and the hum of life, now lay in ruins. The sun barely peeked through the thick, ashen clouds that covered the sky, casting a perpetual twilight over the desolate earth. Streets that had once echoed with the chatter of everyday people were now filled only with the silence of abandonment. Save for the wind that whispered its way through crumbling buildings, he had been wandering for as long as he could remember, a solitary figure, drifting from one ruined structure to the next, finding whatever scraps of sustenance he could in a world that had no place for him anymore. His mind was a fog of confusion. He had no name. He had no memories of what came before. He was simply the last one left. But every night, the silence was his only companion. The constant, suffocating silence that gnawed at his very soul. And then, on that night, everything changed. It started with a knock. At first, it was faint, so faint that he thought he might have imagined it. But when it came again, louder this time, his heart froze in his chest. The last time he had heard a knock, it was from the wind beating against a broken window. But this was different. This was deliberate. This was real. His body moved on its own, propelled by a mix of fear and curiosity. He had been alone for so long that the thought of anyone being out there seemed impossible. But the knock came again, as if to remind him that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't as alone as he thought. His fingers brushed the cold, rusted handle of the door. For a moment, he hesitated. What if it was just another trick? What if the world was playing its cruel game once again? But then, driven by something deeper, something that whispered of forgotten memories and a long-lost purpose, he twisted the handle and opened the door. There they stood, 3 women. He blinked in disbelief, his mind struggling to comprehend what his eyes were telling him. They were like nothing he had ever seen. Tall, with an aura that was almost otherworldly, their eyes glowed faintly, as if they held the light of some distant star. Their faces were beautiful, but their beauty was laced with an unsettling, almost predatory quality. They stood like figures from a dream, as if they were not meant for this world. One of them stepped forward. Her silver hair shimmered in the dim light, her eyes piercing through him like she could see the very depths of his soul. Her presence was commanding, and yet there was something strangely comforting about it. It was as if she was exactly where she was meant to be. "You," she said, her voice smooth, but carrying a weight that immediately put him on edge. "You are the last one." His throat tightened. "What do you mean?" His voice was hoarse, the words almost foreign to him after so much time spent in silence. "Who are you?" "My name is Lyra," she replied, her tone cool, as if she were used to giving answers no one was prepared to hear. "And these are my sisters, Ira and Nira." He stepped back, his mind racing. He didn't know why, but the way she said the last one struck something deep within him. It resonated in a place he couldn't understand, a place he hadn't accessed in that felt like an eternity. "What are you talking about?" he managed to ask, his confusion growing with each passing second. "Who are you? And why are you here?" Lyra didn't flinch. Her gaze remained steady. "We've been looking for you," she said, her voice now laced with something softer, almost sympathetic. "You've been lost to time, but we have found you now, and we need you." "Need me?" he echoed, his heart racing. "I'm the last person alive. There's nothing left here. I don't even know who I am." Lyra's expression softened slightly, but there was no hesitation in her voice when she spoke again. "That's not true. You are not the last one, and you are not alone. We've come for you because you have children, and they are waiting for you." His knees buckled, and for a moment, he was unsure whether it was the shock of the words or the weight of realization that sent him reeling. "Children," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "I don't remember having children." "How could I have children? They are your legacy," Lyra said, her eyes never leaving his. "They are the result of an experiment, one that you were part of. They are the last hope for this world, and you are the one who must protect them." The words barely made sense, yet something inside him, a long-buried instinct, told him to listen. His heart ached with confusion and something deeper, something primal that called him to follow, to find these children, to understand what they meant. I don't understand, he said, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and disbelief. Why me? Why didn't you come sooner? We couldn't, Lyra replied simply. You weren't ready. The world wasn't ready. But now it is time. The children need you, and so does the world. The man stared at her, still processing everything. Children, a world that needed saving. He had no memory of any of this. His entire existence had been reduced to surviving in a dead world, one moment blending into the next. How could he be part of something so grand? What do you want me to do? He asked, his voice shaking with a mix of desperation and disbelief. Lyra stepped closer. Follow us, she said, her voice now gentle, coaxing. We'll take you to them. The children are waiting for you, and the world needs you to remember what you've forgotten. He hesitated for a moment, but something inside him, the same instinct that had guided him to open the door, urged him forward. There was no turning back now. He had to know what they meant. He had to know the truth. As they walked through the barren land, the man's mind whirled with questions. The world was dead, wasn't it? Everything had been lost. So, why were these women telling him that he had children? Why were they saying that he was the key to saving a world that had already crumbled into nothingness? Lyra led him through the desolate landscape, her presence like a beacon in the vast emptiness. Every now and then, Ira and Nira would glance at him, their expressions unreadable. He felt their eyes on him, as if they were measuring his every move, assessing whether he was worthy of what he had yet to learn. The journey was long and arduous, but the man didn't question it. His legs ached, his body was exhausted, but there was something inside him that drove him forward. This wasn't just a mission. This was something far bigger than he had ever imagined. He had children who were waiting for him. They finally arrived at the facility. It was hidden deep within the earth, concealed by layers of rock and dirt. The entrance was guarded by a massive, ancient door, covered in strange symbols. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Lyra raised her hand, and with a single movement, the door creaked open, revealing the entrance to a hidden world. Inside, it was dark, but the air hummed with a strange energy. The walls were lined with glowing symbols, pulsing softly, as if they were alive. And at the center of the room, he saw them, 3 figures. They were unlike anything he had ever seen, human, yet not. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural light, their features sharp and almost otherworldly. They were young, but they radiated power, wisdom, and something else, something that tied them to him in a way he couldn't explain. As soon as they saw him, their expressions softened, and they stepped forward. The youngest, a girl with eyes that shone like twin stars, reached out toward him. We are yours, she said, her voice soft but heavy with meaning. And you are ours. His heart lurched. The realization hit him like a tidal wave, crashing over him. These were his children, his legacy. And in that moment, everything he had known, everything he had believed, shattered.